And I would like us to first carefully reflect on this statement. So the ACMS, the Adventist Church Management System, does not replace the church manual, the processes and the guidelines um, in there specifying transfer of membership and uh, censure and those various different membership management transactions that has to be authorized through a specific church board recommending to a business meeting and then approved at business meeting level. So the ACMS system does not replace any of that. The only thing that it replaces is the old church clerk record books or other church membership record systems like Excel spreadsheets that we keep the membership with. So please, even though we use the ACMS system, we still need to follow the guidelines and the recommendations in the church manual with regard to membership transfer, with regard to baptisms, with regard to any membership transaction that we need to do. What we do on the ACMS system is we merely record the transactions after they've been duly authorized by the appropriate committees at the appropriate levels. So I think that is very important. So please don't just make transactions on the ACMS system without a duly recorded either church board or business meeting. And for many of the transactions, you're actually required to fill in the actual business meeting action number and date on which it was taken. So let's start with a brief introduction and look at some of the login issues. Some of you might experience some login issues. Some might also be frustrated because you might have been on the system last year. The ACMS system, it's a global system. It's built in like that, the church clerks in particular can only be on the system for a year, 2 year maximum. So normally when they lock you in for the duration of your portfolio, at the end of your term of office, the system automatically kicks you out. It's not the conference. It's not sister patients. We'll talk about sister patients shortly. It is the system, and it's a built-in safety net that they've put in onto the global system. And hence, when you start anew, you need to be reauthorized to log onto the system. So if you struggle to log into the system, and by the way, it is not a software program that you can download or that you can purchase somewhere. It's a web-based program similar to Facebook and Instagram. So you log on to the ACMS, Adventist Church Management System, via your device. I think especially when you deal with church membership, it would be better to use a computer. It's true that if you can access the internet with a device, you could probably access the ACMS system. But some devices, the screen would be so small and not all the functionalities would be available on some of these devices. So it is recommended that you access the browser, the internet, and then the ACMS system on a computer, if possible, and where possible. So one follows the link. Again, Sister Patience Dick, she's the administrative capturing person dealing with the ACMS system at the conference. If you have the Secretariat book that Pastor Eugene Carrillas produced on behalf of the Secretariat Department, all the information is in there. Also, the contact details for Sister Patient Dick. Any inquiries, any challenges with the ACMS system with regard to membership issues, you contact her. I'm also aware that there's a treasury model, and that the Treasury Department is spearheading the training there. Sometimes we do it combined, but again, for tonight's purposes, we will mainly deal with membership issues, and we will not on the financial components and the Treasury component of the ACMS system. So if you have any challenges to log into the system, you contact Sister Patience Dick, and she will assist you and she will help you to get access to the system. If somehow you had access to the system and it miraculously disappeared, you again call Sister Patience Dick, and she can and would be more than welcome or happy to assist you with your inquiries. So if you follow the link from the screen, the web link, let me see if I can highlight it, and if you can see that. I don't know whether I'll be able to do that. Sure, it's difficult with a mouse and not a pen. If you follow this link, then it will take you to this following page that we are dealing with, and then let me see if I can move on my screen. No, it doesn't remove the mark. I hope I can get it out. No, shouldn't have done something that I don't know how to do. My apologies about that. That's why you never try something new on a presentation. I'm just going to ignore it for a moment and continue. Maybe somebody can assist me and I can get it off the screen. So if you then press on the link, it will take you to the landing page or the login page of the ACMS, and you will then see where you put in your username. That's normally the email that you have logged on the system and that situations are aware of, and then your password will follow in there.
Pastor?
You could, yes, Pastor.
Sorry, it might be a disturbance. Why don't we just close the presentation and open it again quickly?
I can do that. My humble apologies.
No, it's fine.
It's my first mistake for the year, Pastor. Please forgive me. Let me do that and start all over again. I'll come back to this page.
Okay.
Thank you. That's why you are the executive secretary. Look how quickly we solved this problem, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. Thank you, Pastor. So when you follow the link that I've marked so boldly on the previous slide, you land on this page, you sign in, and when you press on sign in, it will take you to the actual homepage of the ACMS. Don't be disturbed when it's busy loading and you will see the logo for ACMS and this little circle, and you will see it running around and running around and running around. Now, let me also explain, sometimes when you log in, it might take a little time before it actually allows you into the system. And the reason for that is that when it is daytime in America, it is night for us and the other way around. So the programmers for the ACMS is in Brazil. And so during the night, when most of America is asleep, they do maintenance on the system. So sometimes during the day, when we want to work on the system might be slow and we take long for us to go in. But don't give up, be patient, have the patience of the saints, and it will allow you in, and then you will be able to see the loading page or the home page of the ACMS that should look more or less something like this. I'm going to take you to the conferences page for some of the other, as not to expose any private information and detail. This is just the screen that you will see. So you will see it's the home page. If you can follow my, there it says home page. And this is the menu bar that you will find on the left-hand side. We will talk about some of the functions that you can find here. Then you will find a summary here. There's a welcome screen with various quotations, it changes from time to time, a text or a spirit of prophecy. It will give certain notifications if there are any notifications for you as a church clerk to attend to. It might have all the upcoming birthdays. It'll give you some general information in terms of the membership number of your congregation, the current membership transactions that is waiting to be completed. It will give you a summary of the transfers, pending out, pending in, and then specifically for member requests. If you press on detail, it'll take you there. And then also for the whereabout unknown. So it's those when we do the auditing of the system, and we audit our members to make sure that we have an accurate record, that we know how many sheep we have in the fold, so that we can nurture them, feed them, and care for them. If people are whereabouts are unknown, we follow the church manual guidelines. Make a recommendation to the business meeting from the church board. The business meeting acts on it. But once you record that onto the system that a person's whereabouts is unknown, the system will delay that transaction. If I recall correctly, Pastor, just help me if I speak under corruption for is it 12 months or 24 months, and only then will it be processed. Just in case the person is discovered or the whereabouts has been discovered. So that's the home screen that you will see. Then if we continue, I would like us then in this first section, when we discuss the membership management, we'll look at some of these matters, maybe not all of them, depending on time, but I would like to show you how to add a new member, how to search, update a member profile, some membership transactions. We'll look at transfer, the missing members or the members whereabout that's unknown, and we could look at duplicate members, but there might not be time for all of them. So again, if you want to deal with any membership issue, you go to the left-hand bar on the screen. When you've logged in, we finish with the home. So then you're going to press with your mouse on the member. And when you press on member, then there will be submenus that will appear. There will be search or to add new ones. You could do bulk updates. So let's say you've got an updated list of telephone numbers. So it will take you to a place where you can bulk update and correct all the new telephone numbers, all the new addresses, or whatever needs to be changed and needs to be adapted. Then there's a screen for the transfer transactions. And then for those who are absent or the whereabouts unknown, then there's the function of categories that one can utilize, and also duplicates. Duplicates would be if a member's name is recorded in more than one congregation. Sometimes we're not careful, and especially transitioning from an old system to a new system, and sometimes before the receipts has been received from the releasing church, the person has been accepted into a new congregation. And sometimes when the person has been transferred, then the releasing church doesn't remove the person from their books. And so we sometimes, especially in the Western Cape, have, when I looked at it, had about members who would be in 7, 8 different congregations as they moved on. And so that doesn't help with accurate statistics and with planning and with focus. So it's important that we attend to doubles. And then let me just speak about the categories. The categories are very, very important, especially for our mission-orientated ministry. So with categories, you could create categories for those who regularly attend. You could have categories for those who hardly attend. You could create categories for single parents or single mothers. You could create categories for different ministry groups and categorize your members into those various categories. And we will utilize those categories later when we generate reports that we actually use the information. But in order to really utilize the effectiveness and the power of the ACMS system, and by the way, it's a powerful system, we need accurate information in. We need to make sure that we've got all the information in, accurate dates of birth, accurate dates of baptism, accurate full names and surnames, accurate mobile numbers, accurate email addresses, accurate physical addresses, even the particulars of the church that we have in, we'll talk about later. We also need accurate information there, because the information from the local church is pulled to the conference, and the conference utilizes that information and statistics for strategic planning and for ministry planning and for budget planning. And so you can see it's very important that we have accurate information there. And again, from the conference, the information goes to the union and to the division and to the general conference eventually. And they use exactly the same database. And the idea at the global church is to replace all other church member record systems with the Adventist Church Management system or system, so that we can have one system, one database, one accurate database that can serve the world church. And that's why it is important for the accurate information. So I'm just blowing up this little screen. If it was too small, maybe I should have done it earlier. But you can see the home screen. We're done with that now. We're on member, and there are the various categories: search, bulk update, transfer, absence, categories, duplicates, and then there are some of the other categories that we will talk about a little bit later. So if you then on the membership on the menu, and you want to search, you press search. Once you press search, it will take you to the search new member screen. And so here you can search for a member. If it's on the ACMS system, it is there. It will also not allow you to add a new member if the member is not searched. So if you search on surnames, you need to put in the percentage sign first. For some other reason, that is the I don't even know why they put it in, but it will not do the search on the surnames if you don't start with the percentage sign first. So you go to your percentage sign. It's normally on top of the keyboard. On mine, it is just with the number 5. And so you press Shift 5 and the percentage sign will appear. And then you can put in Potgieter. And if you press enter, it will kick out all the Potgieters on the system that you're allowed to see. And so normally when you do a new membership system, it actually searches through the whole database, so that you can see if I'm not recorded in the Northern Conference or in Zimbabwe or in Kenya or wherever. And that's why that search can sometimes take long. If you put in more information, like the person's full name and the person's surname, then you don't need to start with the the percentage sign, and then it will take a little bit longer sometimes for the search because it must go through the whole database. But you will get less hits in the end, and then you can see if the ID or the address or something matches, and if there's no match, then you can add a new member. If there's a match, then obviously the transfer transaction needs to be followed. Otherwise, another duplicate will be created. And so on the screen, you've got a person type. in most cases, you will merely use a member, which is green. The PR is very small here, is as a sort pastor. And so if you want to search for pastors only, or if you want to search all categories, that's where you will select the person type. So if you press on this menu, all the different person types that is categorized on ACMS will appear. And then, as I say, you type your information, the name or whatever information you have in here. You press search, and it will search the database and then kick out any information or not on the system. I hope it's not me that's creating these lines. It's somebody else. Pastor, I'm innocent. It's not me.
That's fine, Pastor. I think when you go to the next slide, it's not even
No,
going.
no.
Who are we
Please
kidding?
don't draw on the screen because Pastor Eugene is accusing me now.
I'm going to withdraw the bonus. Uh,
It's members, Pastor. Let me go out quickly and clear it. Let's ask people not to draw with their mouse, annotate. We can actually have this function, but it's something that you need to do when we're outside of the Zoom meeting. I'm just going to stop sharing and reshare quickly. And it'll take us back to the same slide, I hope. Yes. Yes, I know it's very tempting to write on the screen, but please refrain from doing that because I'm just getting into trouble. All right. Then when you do the search, it will tell you whether you've found any hits. So you can see I've typed in my own particulars in here, my first name and my last name, and I press search, and I'm sure the system will tell us that there's a record of me on the system. So there are my full names. Please don't phone me. My date of birth, not my year, and my mother's name, and I'm currently in the Tygerberg Church. So if the name is on the list, then you will not create a new one, but then you need to do a transfer transaction. If the name or the particulars is not the same as the person that you want to add, then you can create a new record, and it will allow you to add a new person onto the system. And so when you press the new person or add new person, you will come to a screen like this for new member. You can indicate whether it's a new member by baptism, rebaptism, profession of faith, or whether it's an adjustment. Adjustments are normally made to correct duplicates, but you need to consult with Sister Patience first. And for profession of faith, and for adjustments, you first need to check with the conference. So we also find that people say no, their membership are lost, or they've been members, and so they are accepted on profession of faith in many different churches, and that creates a problem. So in trying to address that, if a person wants to be accepted on profession of faith, let the conference check. And if the person's name does not appear anywhere else, and once you receive a letter from them, then the church can go ahead with the profession of faith. The same with the adjustment. Be careful to just make adjustments because it impacts on the whole system. So check with Sister Patience first before you do that. If it's a baptism and a rebaptism, and the normal church processes will follow, recommendation from the church board, meeting voted, then it will be recorded. So the person's first name, last name. So once you type that in, the full name will automatically appear there, and then you can put the person's title in there. There are a few options for titles. So when you press on the menu down bar, you will find some options that you hopefully can use. You put the person's initials in. If the international name is different, but it's not necessarily applicable for us, so this one is not that important. It's important to indicate the gender, and we don't follow the gender politically correct tradition. We have a different view as a church, but it's important for us, especially from a statistical point of view, and especially from a ministry point of view. So if all the genders are, or the genders are not entered into the system, and you want to say, from your reports, kick out a list of all the women between the age of let's say, 20 to 55 for a specific women's ministers retreat, and the system wouldn't be able to do that because you didn't capture that information in the first place. So we request that you fill in the basic information for every member and make sure that they're up to date and accurate for every member, the gender, the date of birth. Now, when we migrated, previously there was another system that the church used. The name is not all that important. And then we migrated to the ACMS system. And so lists were distributed to churches. They verified the members, and those name lists were in. Sometimes there are spelling errors, but everybody is born on the 1st of January, 1888 or something like that. It's many, many years. So most of our membership are well over 200 years, because it's just a default date of birth. And again, we cannot utilize that information. You cannot determine whether your church, as a vibrant community of well-balanced in terms of children, young people, adolescents, middle-aged and old people, or whether you have a church that has it's growing older and older and older. You're not getting any new members in, or younger members in, let me put it that way, not younger members. So, if that continues, when the last member dies, the church will probably die with that. And so it's important to know the age spectrum for ministry purposes, for statistical purposes, for planning purposes. So it's important that we put the dates of birth in. So not most, but if the country is South Africa, you will add that, or wherever the country of birth is. If the birthplace is known, we try and type that in. And again, the more information you type in here, it will help us to prevent having doubles. So if you have two people with the same name and they born in South Africa, they might not be born on the same place. And hopefully they've got a different mother's name and the father's name. And that's why we need to add this information to make sure that, let me try and give you an example. Let's say you Google and you search something on the internet and you say butterflies. So if you type in the word butterfly, you will probably get a gazillion hits of butterflies, different search hits with butterflies, their habits, what they eat and what they like, and all sorts of things. But if you type in butterfly, green, one-legged, Somerset West, you're probably going to get 1 or 1.5 hits. So the more information that you put in, the less hits you will get in the end. And it's the same principle here. So the more personal information of a member that you add into the system, the greater the chances and the better the chances that we will talk about the same person because of that. But if you only have a name and a surname, there are many, many people with exactly that first name and exactly that surname. And that's often where the confusion is from. Right, and so then you can add their addresses and the other information, contact information you will see is down there. So I don't think I had a slide for all the information, but I want to emphasize that it is important that we have all the information as far as possible. Now, if it is difficult for you as a church clerk to collect the information, and you have a church of, let's say, 600-700 members, There are not many of them with that membership, but there are a few. There are a few with even 1,000, touching on 1,000 members that are on the books. But if you consider the conference, they sit with a database of 43,000. So if one person in the executive secretary or sister patients must try and update and get it, it is impossible. But if every church clerk can ensure that their membership record is up to date and is accurate, that will not only help and benefit the local church with caring for their own sheep, nurturing their own sheep, but it will assist the conference and the conference officers in their planning, caring for the conference and nurturing the conference as a whole. So that is very, very important. Then we're back to the menu screen. We're going to see if we can go to transfers. I think I've made it a little bit larger. So yes, you can see we're back on the menu. And if you press on transfer, by the way, if your mouse scrolls on any of if you go to bulk update, next to your mouse, there will be bulk update. If you're next to transfer, if you click on transfer to your mouse on that line, it will appear there. So if you're not sure what you've clicked on, but the menus are fairly clear. And there's a lot of help and assistance to get there. So let's go to membership transfers, the transaction of taking a new member on or transferring a member from your congregation to another congregation. When you press on that, I hope not to have the screen on, but fortunately it's hopefully small enough. So you will see the transfer screen, and again you can have the transfer status. Under here you will find the transfer in or transfer out screen. Then you can select with transfer age. There are different ages. It refers to how old the transaction is. So it'll say 12 months, 9 months, 6 months, 3 months. And so your ideal would be not to have old transfer ages, because it frustrates members and it frustrates the system. When a person wants to transfer from one church to another one and they can't get their names transferred, then sometimes people just stop doing that, and it also complicates our system. So we follow the guidelines in the church board. Once there's a request from the member, we vote on it. Let's try and deal with it promptly, especially with the system. It's taken a lot of paperwork and a lot of postage and emails and things out. It's all of us on the system, and we all use that. So all you do is you just add the transaction onto the system, and it will help you. So let me just see with the transfer status. It can show all the transfers that are there, the ones that has been requested by 7Me. 7Me is an app that members can join. I will say something briefly about it at the end, but I noted, Pastor Eugene, that you have a training session just on the 7Me app soon. So I'm not going to spend too much time, but that's the app that all members can join and can update their own information. You can even request your membership transfer, and I've used it very successful myself to transfer my own membership from one congregation to another congregation. Then you can filter it, and you can say, I just want to see the transfer transactions with the cent granted by the other church, or that has been requested, or you can have all of them in, or the transfer is completed, or the one's cancelled. So this is the screen that will tell you what type of transfer transaction you will see. You can select all of them, or you can only select some of them, depending on what information you want to see. So it's powerful as far as that is concerned. Let me just see. I think that is fine. I'm going to move on to the membership system. It's the management, the church management itself. So we've talked a little bit about the membership, searching, making sure we don't have doubles, adding all the information, and having accurate information, and on the transfer process. Then on the church management itself, that's for the local church. So if you're not having access to the system, you would mainly be allowed to look at your own church. And again, you can press on the menu for church and for search, and then if you type your church's name in, it will appear there on the screen. Again, here we have Uppington as an example. It tells you the code. It's not all that important. It's important for the conference, and for the rest of the system, it's allocated by the system. It tells you the name of the church, whether it's a church or a company, or what unit that would be. It is within the Cape Conference. That is what the first abbreviation is, and SAU, South African Union Conference. It's the city in which that is. The church is located, also the district. It tells you whether it's active. Now, if you want to edit the information of your local church, and in fact, if you want to edit most of the transactions, all you need to do is you go to the far right of the screen, and you will see there's a little pen. If you press on that, it will open an edit screen where you can actually find more information. So I've pressed on that, and it opened up the church page, as it were. So it gives us the information of the church. It tells us it's a church, tells us the name. Maybe the name is spelled incorrectly. This is where you would change it. It will tell you the district that it resides in, and then if you open this page, it will not allow you to close it unless you fill in the ethnicity. Now, the reason why they want that, again, it's for statistical purposes and for mission planning. So they want to know, is it mainly English-speaking church with the Western culture? Now, you will see that most of the cultures that we have, especially in South Africa, and the ethnicity is not clearly on the system. We've requested the SAU and the SID in the past to actually make this more accurate, and maybe Pastor Eugene, we could make a note and ask them again to do that. This information helps us a lot, especially with our mission planning and our urban centers of influence, because the information there will be valuable in the acceptance or rejection of an urban center of influence application. But on the new system, it is mandatory. It will not allow you to close and save the page unless you've ticked the one. If there's not one, then we use a generic one and we just move on. But then again, it doesn't help any of us in terms of the information. Then your pastor's information will be there, the senior pastor. If you click on church clerk, the church clerk's detail will be there. And if you click on the street address, the street address of the church will also appear. Now, you can then press here on edit on the right-hand side, this green button, with the street address. You can either then manually, with the address, add your church on the map, as it is under here on the screen. If you go lower down, we would have the Google map that shows exactly where the Uppington Church is located. Or you could opt to go to Google Maps, find the location of the church, drop a pin there and save it, and the information is there. And again, we would like to encourage you to make sure that the information about the church is accurate. And again, I'll show you later at the end how some of that information is drawn in on the 7Me app. So if a person is searching for a church, they would be able to find the church. They want to know who's the pastor of the church, they would be able to find that information. But if the information is not on the system, even if you search, you will not find it because it is just not there. So we highly recommend that you please update your church's information. There's space to indicate your worship times, your Sabbath school times. If you have different meetings, I know of one congregation that has two services, and then the first service is indicated at this time, and then they've got an additional service indicating at that time, and they've got another arrangement for Sabbath school or small groups. You can indicate all of that on the ACMS, and that is translated to your 7Me app, where people can find information. So if I'm traveling and I go to a different place, I can open my 7Me app and I can search for a church closest to me, and I can find the information and the worship times, provided that the church clerk of that local church was faithful and recorded the information and uploaded the map information onto the ACMS system. So you can also then not only add and edit the information of the church, but also of the members of the church, but also of the church officers, the leaders of the church. And again, there's a menu for that. And the church, again, when you press on the church officers, and it will take you to a page where you can talk. I see I've got another friend again helping me drawing lines on my PowerPoint. And so you can select a position. If you press on select a position, it will give you elder, church clerk, all the various positions that we have in the church. Or you could search with an existing member to see if the member is there. And again, you can press add. Now, this particular one, I think it's the conference. You can see I'm in the conference page. And so all the offices, the various church clerks, the information are listed down here, but I've blocked it out. You can just see I can edit them, but I didn't want you to see all the information because of Popeye. So you're going to press new, and then you'll be able to add the new position onto the screen, and then all the information will appear here. So there's a drop-down list that will help you select the department. Is it presidency? Is it secretariat? Whatever department it is it finance? And then the specific position. So depending on the position that you've selected here, let's say I've selected secretariat, then I'll find all the church clerks, assistant church clerks, everything that has to do with the secretarial work. And so the department will depend on what you will see when you open the position one. And then for the member, it's a very similar screen when you add them and when you add the information in. And so when you search for a member, normally you could find that member in your local church, and then it will actually just show you the members of your local church, and you will select on them. It will draw their information that's already on the system, and you will just add their position or their office that they are serving. And again, if you don't have the correct mobile numbers and email numbers and addresses, when it draws it in here, it will draw the wrong information in here. Now, if you have all your offices and you have updated that list, all you need to do is you go to the reports, and it will kick out the report with all the officers or all the deacons or only the deacons or only the deaconesses, depending on how you've uploaded it into the system. But if you didn't capture the accurate information, then you can't utilize the power of the system. So that is what this section of the offices and the positions is all about. So let's see, Pastor, I'm just going to clean my screen by stop sharing and starting all over again. Reminds me of my children when they were very small, and they would get hold of a crayon and they would draw beautiful pictures in Bibles and my textbooks. Now that we look back, we appreciate it, but it wasn't as appreciated then. So maybe we must take a screenshot of these pictures that people are drawing. Pastor, so let's see if we can conclude this presentation by talking about the forms and the reports that you will find at the end, also on the menu, that are very powerful and that can assist in a great way. So you need to, on your menu and on the left-hand side, go to the reports. There are reports on membership, different reports you can draw. There are reports you can draw on the church, on the department. There are also various statistical analytical reports that you can draw. But remember, you would not be able to draw any of these reports accurately if you did not capture the information accurately initially. And so, again, I cannot emphasize the importance of making sure that you've got all the information, accurate information of every single member that you have in the congregation. And then the reports, irrespective of the report that we draw, would be helpful. Now, these reports are not only helpful for you to know the whereabouts of the members and who they are, but these reports becomes extremely important for pastors, especially ministering in an urban setting where we need a lot of information because we minister in a changing environment, and the G-share has shifted the focus of ministry. So in the past, one of the things with traditional evangelism was that, we sort of use a shotgun approach. A flock of birds fly over you, and you use your shotgun and you just shoot in the general direction of the flock, and maybe you'll hit one or two and a few of them will fall down. But with urban missions and ministry, we can't afford that luxury to actually waste resources and time. We need snipers. So every single shot must count, and the sniper will never pull the trigger unless the identified target can be seen and through the scope, and then the person will pull the trigger. And in urban missions, and especially the times, the changing environment, the various variables that we are confronted with, we need accurate information so that we can say we're gonna focus on a particular language, we're gonna focus on a particular age group, we're gonna focus on a particular whatever. But we would be able to do that when we consider the information. Let's say you've done an analysis of your community, and you discover that there's a gated community, there's a lot of young people, postmodern young people, that don't believe strongly in this and not strongly in that. It's very difficult to reach them. But when you want to focus a ministry and develop a ministry for that particular people group, then the next thing that you need to do is you need to see, okay, what resources do we have as a church that we can match up so that we can develop a ministry around that. And then when you have a successful ministry and some of them has joined the church, then you need to know, what is the discipleship plan? What is the nurtureship plan? How are we going to continue to support them? Otherwise, we sort of dip and drop them. We baptize them and they just out. They're just statistics again. And unfortunately, our retention rate worldwide is very, very low. So we need to do better. But the information of the ACMS system can help us turn the situation around. So I cannot emphasize more, as I said throughout this presentation, we need accurate information. And that's why your as a church clerk is extremely important. It is vital in helping the pastor, in helping the church board, in helping the business meeting, in helping the conference to have accurate information so that accurate strategic planning can be done, so that budgeting can be done on accurate information. And then it would enhance the work and help us to be more fruitful as far as that is concerned. So on these various reports, membership reports, again, if you're on that landing page, you will see you can have a report, members, very, very general report. You can have only the birth dates. You can have members with basic information. You can have a report with the members' addresses and information, members and email addresses only. The registration form is the form that we looked at. You can have the comprehensive one and have a printout of that information, or you can have, we've already looked at the birthday list with contact information. You can only draw, or you can draw a list with members and their photos if you've captured photos for them. And you can draw a report with the church's information and the status and so forth and so forth. So there's quite a lot of reports that you can actually draw that will assist the church board with graphs and with information as they plan evangelism in all its phases, which is a key responsibility of church boards. But many church boards talk about many things, but very little about actual evangelism in all its phases, discipleship plans, nurturing of members. Then you can have filters. You can sort them by first name, by last name. There are various filters here. You can do it for members only, for interest, for pastors only, for all of them together. You will select the person type here. Status, if I recall correctly, would be things like active member and so forth. And here you've got some other filters that you can add in terms of age, gender, many other demographical filters to streamline the report so that the report is relevant for your context and speaks to what you need to do as a church at that time. You can also export the report as a PDF document, and some of them, not all of them, as Excel. So then once it's in Excel, it's easy to manipulate and to utilize the information that you've downloaded as far as that is concerned. And then you can draw reports if you allow, but I don't think this function works where you can do it with all the churches simultaneously yet. And then you would start with a new page for each church, or sometimes if you don't work in the district, it will allow you to do one transaction after the other one, or do all the transactions, every new transaction on a new page, just as an example. So those are just, in short, some of the reports. But I cannot emphasize, if one starts playing around with the reports, the reports are a vital tool for ministry planning and for ministry evaluating and evaluation and for taking us forward as far as that is concerned. Yeah, I forgot that I had a picture to blow up the categories, but we've talked about the various categories and the reports that would be available. So I'm not going to repeat it at this stage. Again, some of the how you can sort it according to full name, address lines, age, full name, baptism anniversary date, baptism date, date of birth, city, full name, gender, full name, last name. You can see there's quite a lot of options, depend on what information you want to gather. So once you have accurate information in a database, this is a powerful tool to do all sorts of things and analysis on that information, helpful information that we could utilize. I think for the people, I had one in, so you could select all of them, only the active ones. The bluish one or the Turkish one is for the pastors, green is members. The interests would be people that are not baptized yet. They normally called interest. And then if a person loses the status, the ACMS system will never lose them. So you won't often work with this, but the system keeps it in just as a person. The information remain on the database. And then also for deceased, there's a category for the deceased. And that status of the membership that we talked about could be a member absent, whereabouts unknown, a membership that are in transfer process, member under censure, previous members, members that has been removed or dropped or removed because of whereabouts unknown, they're missing. And so those are some of the categories you can utilize in terms of drawing your reports and present some of that for the church board for information and for utilizing it to plan and to discuss and to better minister to the congregation and the community. Then let me just say a few brief words about the 7Me app. And I think where it's possible, that will really help you as church clerks if all the members can be on 7Me app. Because if they change and update their details on the 7Me app, it will go to your system and then you can allow it onto the system. And so we would be able to quickly have accurate information on the 7Me app. So the 7Me app, you can download it from the Apple Store or from Android. Um, you can just go to the stores of these various either Apple or Android. You can just type in 7Me and it'll take you to the application, or you can follow the actual link and it'll take you straight to the app. You can download it. Now it will open up the 7Me app. It will look like this: 7Me. And while it thinks, this little blue bar will run across the screen until it's loaded. If you haven't logged in for the first time, it will ask you to log in. Now, what is very important, you need to use the same email that is recorded on the ACMS system. If you use a different email, it won't allow you in on the 7Me app. So whatever information you gave to the church clerk, or make sure that you use the same email that the church clerk has recorded on the ACMS system. And then you would be able to create a password and to log into the system. And so this is the landing page. Again, there's a picture that moves on, beautiful picture on top, and then there's a daily thought or a verse emphasis. It gives some information in terms of local news. It can be all, or it can be the Adventist News Network's news, or it can be just your local church's news if it's updated. So those would be the options. And at the bottom, you would see this is for the church. This is for praying. This is for resources, and this is for your personal information. So let's see if we can move on to one of these other screens. So if we move to church, you can see the church that I belong to, Tygerberg Church. Picture of the church is there because it's been uploaded on the ACMS system. And when their Sabbath school will start, and also the lesson study and the divine service, you want to do the offering, you want to see the calendar, you want to find the church. You can find the church because it's on the system. You see how everything comes together? So that's what you will find on the church, on the church's page of the 7Me app. And then there's a section for praying, where you could add prayer requests. You could have your own prayer list. There could be prayer groups, and then your own personal prayer requests that you have. And then some of them will be uploaded, and we can pray for one another as it's indicated on the system. And you can scroll down and you'll see the others. And then when you go to the resources screen, churches can add resources. You'll see there's a Bible. There are the Bible study guides, the Sabbath School Quarterlies, the Great Controversy, the Christ in Song, with the various languages would be there. And so if you go to the right, because it's a picture, I can't scroll now, there are more resources there. And then there are videos and other items, resources helpful that you could find on this page. And then you've got your profile. You can edit your profile and put an ugly picture up there of myself. And then my church's name will appear there. And here I can request a transfer. So if I press transfer now, then I am a member of a new congregation early next week. You see, so that's where the transfer will be. It will ask you then to which congregation. It will send a note to your church clerk automatically. Your church clerk will start responding on it on the ACMS system. It will be escalated to a church board, to a business meeting. Once those actions have been done, it will be sent to the receiving church. They will take the necessary actions, and then the transaction will be completed, and you will be in a new church. If the church is on the ACMS treasury component, the financial information will appear here of the local congregation. And if you press on edit your profile, it will give you this screen. I can't see the top of the page now. With your personal information and your data, your family, your address, your contacts. If you press on these various ones, you'll be able to edit that information. Once you've edited it, it will go to the church clerk on the ACMS system, and then they will press allow to upload the information onto the ACMS system. So quite powerful. So if every church member is on 7Me app, can you imagine how easy your work will be to ensure that you've got accurate, the latest information, the latest mobile, the latest emails, the latest addresses of the various members? Master, that's the end.